Welcome to the Relaunch podcast, and I'm your host, Hilary DeCesare. And today we have such a special episode because we're wrapping up the year in the most meaningful way that we know how. And it's by unwrapping the greatest gift. And it's really the greatest gift that you can give yourself. It's a chance to reflect, it's a chance to reset and relaunch into this new year. So, whether right now you're just kind of like snuggled up, or whether you're out walking, or you're on the treadmill or the elliptical, whatever it is, I want you to think about this. This is your chance to just be you, getting a quiet moment to yourself. This is where the magic happens. And in this episode, as we reflect on the past year's wins and some of those lessons that you've had to learn, maybe even the hard way, we're going to be able to reset what's happened this year with clear intentions. And let's create a plan to relaunch into 2025 with boldness, courage, clarity. So again, grab either a pad of paper, a warm drink, or just turn up the volume because it's starting to happen now. And you need to get on board with this because this is the time for reflection. This is the moment to look back on this past year. I want you constantly celebrating everything, even the hard lessons that you've had to kind of move through, the things that you have accomplished. Yes, even the smallest things that you're like, was that really that big a deal? Yes, because as you celebrate more, what your brain is then wired to do is give you more to celebrate. So if you think things are too small, you're literally holding back from what ultimately could be this next year. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. You really think about it. Did you step out of your comfort zone? Did you actually push yourself? You've heard great conversations, this year where we've heard that growth can be really hard, really challenging, painful at times, but you got to still do it. That's what we're meant to be doing, tackling projects that potentially you really don't want to do. I know that over the last probably month and a half, I have taken on a new project every single week. And in fact, this all started when I met a wonderful, wonderful gal at one of my events, Marie Diamond. And she was talking about the vision board and making this with your house, and your vision board is your house. And in it, as I read, it said, start to literally declutter areas. So I've been doing this. And I got to tell you, I just small areas. I had my list of all the things that I wanted to do, but I wanted to wrap up the year really strong. I wanted to wrap up the year with less junk. I moved into our house 3.5 years ago, and I have to be honest, I did a really lousy job cleaning things out. I boxed them, put them in, and then just put them into the garage, into closets. And I've been thinking about it and thinking about it. And when you have things that are taking your energy, taking your mindset, that's a drain for you. That is putting things in a direction that you don't need it to go. Instead, I'd much rather be putting that energy into making things come to fruition, making things manifest, making my results and goals attainable. So I want you to think about, what exactly did you potentially put on that top shelf and said, you know what, I'll get to that later? Does it need to be examined again? Does it need to be like put on the calendar to go do it? Or is it something that at this point you can kick to the curb? It's not important. It's not going to get you any further ahead. But I do want you to think about clutter and the clutter that we see out in this real world around you and the clutter that you have in your head. And they are very similar, but very different. But you still have to unpack each. All right. So when you're really assessing this, I would say make sure you're being honest with yourself. And this is your time to think about this next year. What type of growth do you want? What type of new connections, meaningful moments you want to have? And now let's review. What type of growth did you have this last year? Was it what you expected? Put down on a piece of paper your new connections. I always like to put as one of my big goals for the next year is that I love meeting people that fire me up, meeting people that create those sparks within me. It's like what I do for others, I try to find those people that are going to do for me. And so I want you to put a list together of the people that you want to spend more time with this next year. Yesterday, I got up and I had my tea and I'm sitting there and I thought, who are the couples, who are the friends that maybe I didn't see enough, or I saw them a couple times that they fuel me, they light me up. I put those into my journal. I said, these are the people I want to spend more time with. So now let's take this moment together. And I want you to think about one win. It doesn't have to be the biggest win. The one win that just comes to your mind that actually makes you proud of you. My mom and dad were really good with always saying, I'm so proud of you, Hilary. I'm so proud of you. And I've continued that with my kids. And it doesn't matter the small, the big. For us, it's just being acknowledged. It's being acknowledged for the things that you have done. So when do you allow yourself to be proud of you? To give yourself that pat on the back, to give yourself that squeeze, to not feel like it has to be an outside influence, but it's really the magic happens within yourself. What's that proud moment? When would you say, just looking back at all the relaunches that took place this year, the good and the bad, the positives and the negatives, and which one would you categorize as a win for you? That if you could right now be up for, a lot of times there's articles that say, what's your proudest moment? What would that be? Act like you are sharing that with an audience, with your clients, with the people that you impact. What would you say about it? Do you have it? Do you have one? Maybe you have more than one. Maybe you have none right now that are coming to you. And this is kind of a wake-up call to say, you know what? I need to be doing more of this. Okay, so I want you to think about the feelings that you have, that feeling of pride, because it's proof right now of your resilience and the strength that you have within you. And let me tell you, entrepreneurship, or if you're in corporate, or if you, what I call, you're a millionaire in the making, or you're an impact millionaire, it's tough. It is a tough world when you're trying to make things happen and you're not seeing the results. And so these are the times that you have to commend yourself. You have to realize that you've learned through each experience. And this one that you're so proud of, it's like, yes, this is like, maybe it didn't turn out the way you wanted it, but you made it through, you learned. And I've got a few of these, and I'm like, I kind of do these type of podcasts at the end of the year, and I let things come to me. And one of them, as you know, was I've always had this big, scazy, scary, and crazy goal to be on the Today Show with Hoda Kotb, and I wanted to co-host with her. And you can't just jump from like A to Z. You gotta go through those points where you are, you're gaining your stripes. And I had an opportunity to be on a show, and I did about 22 episodes with the show Wake Up with Marcy and Hilary, and had so many great interviews and so many great things that came from it. And then Hoda decides to step down from the Today Show. And so let me ask you, do you have some of these goals that your goal is based on an outcome of somebody else's? And so her decision was not in line with what I was going for. But because I was quietly and like moving forward, going with like what I knew I needed to gain the confidence, the experience, the lessons in that, does it really matter? Does it really matter where she goes? Or does it even really matter if it's her or somebody else? This is what we do. We corner ourselves into it's got to be, it's got to be. Okay, if it's not going to be Hoda, let it be somebody equal or even like more in alignment with what I want to ultimately do. Are you hearing where I'm taking you with this? That even though when one door closes, how are you allowing this to open up another? So again, big or small, pride, what you're thinking, it doesn't matter. Let's just let the feeling of I did it. Wow. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. You fill in the blank of what feels right for you. Amazing. It's amazing when you can take the time to say, you know what? I'm all that. I did it. And as we move into the new year, it's something that we can carry with us. I would love for you to be able to do three of those moments that you could put on a piece of paper, put it in your purse, put it in your pocket, carry them along so that you can, whenever you need them, go right to those feelings, go right to those emotions. All right. But now, as we move forward with resetting your mindset, and now that we've reflected on our last year, it's time to do a reset. The holidays are absolutely the perfect time to let go of absolutely what no longer is lighting you up. What's actually, instead of fueling you, is leaking fuel from you. Instead of like having your car be electrically charged, instead, it's like an energy leak. We want to just say, you know what? I'm not doing that again. So here's a quick reset ritual that you can try. You can try it today. Again, I'm big on grabbing that paper and write down the things that you really believe feel heavy to you. Go back, look at your calendar, look at what you spent your time. Go look through your phone. Look at the pictures. Anything, anyone, any anything you said yes to that you really wish you had said no to. And people come to me often at this time of the year and they want to release fear. They want to release limiting beliefs. They want to release those toxic habits or even goals that no longer align with them. It just feels off. So once you've done this, once you've really like just taken the time, even right now, thinking about it, do something symbolic to let them go. I have people like throw it into the fireplace, cut them up. I've had people like, literally start to dance and change their mood around it. You put a song that's like one of those depressing, like, oh my God, that makes me cry every single time. And then you flip it to, but now this is the song. You're releasing, you're letting it go. And here's the thing, this acts and it sends a powerful message to your subconscious, and you're making space for what truly matters. They talk a lot about if you're in a relationship or you want to bring a relationship into your life and you go to your closet and there's no space for anyone else's stuff. There's no closets in the house because you have so much stuff. You got to let there be space openness in order to have the ability to bring things in. Okay. So I want to talk about something that you hear me talk about, which is setting intentions. So resolutions are literally out. They are like old way. And we often talk about new way. Instead, I want you to set a meaningful intention for the new year. What is that to you? Think of these as like guideposts that align with your specific values. And if you haven't really identified your values, your core values, they are the best things to be doing. Looking at your core values and understanding that mine are growth, connection with that love, connection with people, connection, and then having the joy in life. And so when something comes up for me, I immediately go into, is this allowing for growth? Is this allowing for connection and love? And that's so good, like feeling of bringing in the joy, the joie de vivre, that, wow, I want a lifestyle of success that's right for me. That's where I want you to start thinking. Think about your values as those guideposts. So here's a quick tip. I want you to start with one area of your life. A lot of people try to jam them all in, but start with one. Is it your business? Is it health? Is it relationships? And ask yourself, what's one thing that you want to feel, that you want to achieve or experience in that specific area? What is it? And always, when you gain clarity like this, write it down. Do not be vague. Ask and you will receive. The universe is here waiting for you to tell it what you want. And most importantly, I want you, as you're writing down this clear intention, do not go online and try to find somebody else's intention and say, that sounds really good, I'm going to use it. This is you. This is you and you making all of this into something very, very personal. Okay, so now let's talk about relaunch into the new year. This is about you. You, as you know, relaunching isn't just something that we do when life throws us a curveball. Oh, God, there's a relaunch happening here and there, and my God, there's so many. No, this is actually a way of life, understanding how to get through relaunches that come your way. And here is my simple, truly simple, actionable 3-step formula. And it's a framework for relaunching you at any time. Number 1, there is no room here for small dreamers. Dream big. Go big or go home. Take a moment to visualize your ideal year, what it really looks like. I call it scazy, scary, and crazy. And oh my God, that would be insane. I want that. Feel it, believe it. What does your dream year look like? I do these workshops once a month talking about what's the next 12 months look like for you. Let's quantum leap where you are and where you want to go to. So number 1, dream big, go scazy. Number 2, plan smart. Break your dreams, break your scazy goals into manageable, small, micro actions, micro pops, I call them. Get so specific. I love believe it boards. I don't believe vision, dream boards work, but when you believe and you put that energy behind it, and you know your word of the year, the next 12 months, you have your revenue goal, you are going for it. When you focus, your brain does something incredible. It wants to deliver on what you are going for. We see it all the time with something called the RAS, the reticular activation system. We see it manifest. All of a sudden you're like, don't hit the pole, don't hit the pole. Bam, you hit the pole. Well, what if you started to think about something different? What if you started to think about that new product line that you've been thinking about building out and the people it's going to, affect and how you're going to do it? What if you start to put so much time thinking about that? What do you think is going to come your way? And so now that you have had your big scazy goal, you are planning super smart, you're getting clarity. Now you start to think about like courageous, bold actions. And the first step is always the hardest, right? That going for it. It's like breaking free from your comfort zone into that growth zone so that you know that your identity is already attached to where you're going. But it's also the most important, that first step to say, I know I can do it. What have you done in the past that you didn't think was possible? Go back to those. That's another pride event. That's another yeah, darn right I did that. Remember, you don't have to see the whole staircase. You just have to take that first step. And let's not forget, you are absolutely not in this alone. This whole idea around what we're talking about today comes with this idea of, you heard me say, connection. How do you get with people that are not just like-minded, but like energy? What community is out there? We have a community called the Relaunchers. It's on Mighty Network. It is free. It is here to help you tune in, celebrate, set your intentions, achieve, believe. And here's the best part. If you're not already a part of it, now that you know it, you can't forget it. You got to join the Relaunchers and let us be there to actually help you cheer every step of this journey. So before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Today, as we are celebrating the season of giving, remember that the greatest gift that you can give yourself is the time and space to become the masterpiece that you are meant to be. You're there, you're already, it's just like, let it develop. Take the moment to reflect, reset, and relaunch. The world is waiting. It's waiting for you. It's waiting for you to shine. It's waiting for you to ignite. It's waiting for you to impact in whatever way possible. So happy holidays. No matter where you are, what you're celebrating, realize that this is a time to celebrate you, to celebrate where you have come over this year. So happy holidays, and let's go into this next year and relaunch like we've never done before. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart this year for letting me be there, for hearing these stories of the relaunch journeys, and for supporting us as we're coming into the 300th episode that we'll be doing in this next new year. And it's all about you. It's all about you. I'm proud of you. And I want to say, let's do this together. Live now, love now. It's relaunch time. It's go time. Relaunch now. Take care, everyone.